There is an invisible force that decides the price of your bread, the availability of your cooking oil, and the stability of nations. It's not a government, and it's not the weather. It's a small, powerful group of corporations and nations that have built a fortress around the global food supply. Right now, a silent war is being waged for control of the most fundamental resource on Earth, our food, and the outcome of this war will determine who eats and who starves in the 21st century. In the next 15 minutes, we will expose the 4 corporations that control over 60% of the world's seeds. We will reveal how 3 countries have become the world's breadbasket, creating a terrifying vulnerability for the entire planet. We will show you how Wall Street bankers bet on the price of wheat, turning hunger into a profit machine. And we will uncover the secretive trading companies that have been the invisible masters of our food for over a century. This is the story of who really controls your dinner plate. It all begins with a single seed. For thousands of years, seeds were a shared resource, saved and swapped by farmers. But that ancient tradition is dead. Today, the very foundation of our food supply is owned and patented. 4 colossal corporations Bayer, Corteva, Chimchina, and BASF now dominate the global seed and pesticide market. Through a relentless wave of mergers, they have consolidated power over the genetic code of our crops. These companies engineer seeds in laboratories, creating proprietary hybrids and GMOs that are designed to work only with their specific brand of fertilizer and pesticide. This creates a closed system that locks farmers into a cycle of dependency. If you buy their seed, you must buy their chemicals. It's a brilliant and terrifying business model. They have effectively patented life itself, turning the source of all agriculture into an intellectual property to be licensed and controlled. The first, and most important, link in the global food chain is firmly in the grip of a powerful, unaccountable few. But a seed is nothing without a fertile field. And here, another oligopoly tightens its grip. The global fertilizer industry is dominated by a small group of nations, including China and Russia, and a handful of corporations. This creates a devastating trap for farmers worldwide. The cost of fertilizer is now one of their biggest expenses. A price spike, driven by geopolitics, can wipe out their entire profit margin, forcing them to use less, which leads to lower yields and higher food prices for everyone. Control fertilizer, and you control the productivity of every farm on the planet. Once the food is grown, it enters the domain of the true masters of the system, the ABCD companies, Archer Daniels Midland, Bunge, Cargill, and Louis Dreyfus. These colossal privately owned trading houses have been the invisible middlemen of global agriculture for over a century. They operate a vast, opaque network that connects a farmer in Iowa to a consumer in Egypt. They don't just trade grain, they are the physical market. Their power comes from their unparalleled market intelligence. They know which harvests have failed and which governments are desperate to buy. This allows them to buy low and sell high, making billions by mastering the logistics of hunger. They are the gatekeepers of the global food supply chain. This entire system rests on a terrifying geographic reality. The world's food supply is increasingly dependent on just a handful of breadbasket regions. The North American plains, the Brazilian Cerrado, and the Ukrainian steppe have become the world's granary. When these regions have a good year, the world eats well. When they suffer, the world feels the pain. The United States is the undisputed king, the world's top corn exporter. Brazil has emerged as an agricultural superpower, the largest soybean exporter, and Ukraine was, until recently, the breadbasket of Europe. This concentration of production is a massive strategic vulnerability. A drought in the American Midwest, a flood in Brazil, or a war in Ukraine doesn't just cause a local problem. It sends shockwaves through the entire global food system, triggering price spikes, panic buying, and political instability in nations thousands of miles away. We have built a global food system with all its eggs in just 3 baskets. And that makes the entire world vulnerable to a single crack. This vulnerability has led to the most dangerous development of all, the weaponization of food. The war in Ukraine provided the starkest demonstration. When Russian tanks rolled in, they didn't just target military installations. They specifically targeted grain silos and blockaded the Black Sea, holding hostage the wheat that feeds hundreds of millions. This was a deliberate act of food terrorism. Russia, itself, a wheat export powerhouse, used its control over Ukrainian grain as leverage against Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, hoping to split Western alliances. This conflict proved that in the modern era, sieges are not laid against castles, but against global supply chains. A nation can now starve its enemy by controlling the trade routes and farmlands that feed the world. But it's not just nations. Wall Street has also become a player in this deadly game. Following the 2008 financial crisis, billions of dollars from pension funds and hedge funds flooded into commodity markets. To these bankers, a bushel of wheat is not food. It is a ticker symbol, an asset class. This massive inflow of dumb money decouples food prices from reality, creating violent price swings and speculative bubbles that make food unaffordable for the world's poorest people. The trade in food is now a multi-trillion-dollar casino where the house always wins, and the poorest on earth pay with their empty stomachs. This consolidation of power doesn't stop at the farm gate or the trading house. It continues all the way to your local grocery store. The retail sector is dominated by a shrinking number of behemoths like Walmart, Amazon, and Kroger. These companies command such immense purchasing power that they can dictate terms to their suppliers, squeezing farmers and processors on price. This creates a race to the bottom, prioritizing cheap, uniform products over nutritional quality, environmental sustainability, and fair pay for producers. These retailers also control the data on what you buy, when you buy it, and for how much, giving them unparalleled insight and control over consumer behavior. They are the final bottleneck, the last gatekeeper between the complex global supply chain and your dinner table. Their purchasing decisions shape what is grown, how it's grown, and what it ultimately costs you. From seed to supermarket, the entire system is designed for efficiency and control, not for resilience or fairness. In the face of this overwhelming consolidation, a global fightback is growing from the ground up. It's a movement centered on the principles of food sovereignty. Around the world, farmers are rediscovering and saving heirloom seeds, creating open-source seed banks to break free from corporate control. The regenerative agriculture movement is gaining momentum, promoting farming methods that work with nature, not against it. These methods rebuild soil health, increase biodiversity, and create more resilient farms that are less dependent on synthetic inputs. From smallholder farms in India to ranches in the American Midwest, producers are building local and regional food systems that shorten the supply chain, returning power and profit to the people who grow our food. At the same time, high-tech solutions are emerging. Vertical farms in cities are producing food with 95% less water. Lab-grown meat promises to disrupt industrial livestock. But the critical question remains, who will own these technologies? Will they be open source and democratic, or will the same corporate giants who control today's seeds patent the food of tomorrow? The battle for the future of food is a battle for its technology. So, who controls the world's food supply? The answer is a powerful, interlocking system. It is the big four seed in chemical companies. It is the secretive ABCD trading giants. It is the financial speculators in Wall Street towers. It is the geopolitical actors who wield grain as a weapon. And it is the retail titans who set the terms on the supermarket shelf. This system was built through decades of policy and a relentless focus on efficiency over resilience. But this system is now cracking under the pressure of climate change, war, and its own internal contradictions. The power to decide who eats is the ultimate power. The choices we make now, the food we buy, the policies we support, the technologies we champion will determine whether control remains in the hands of a few or is returned to the many. The future of our food and our global stability depends on it.